Okay. Oh, I need to share the screen. All right. Piali no momachtikawan, naman ti momachtise tlenika Canin Eltoc. Where is it? Hi everyone. Hi my students. Today we're going to learn about Canin Eltoc, which means where is it? This is basically we're going to learn prepositions and how you use prepositions in Nahuatl. All right. So first we're going to learn this verb Eltoc. Eltoc is basically to be. So if you remember from the past, I told you that there is no to be in Nahuatl. Well, there is, but it's very specific. They have more specific meanings than you think that they are. And to translate the word be, it depends what you're trying to say. Like if you want to say to be in a location, you're going to see that Eltoc is one of the possibilities, although you'll see next week that Eltoc is not the only possibility, but you're going to learn Eltoc today. You're also going to learn, and Eltoc specifically means to be in a location, not to just be like I am a teacher, you are a student. This is to be somewhere in a location. Okay. And by the way, this verb Eltoc is mainly used in the Huasteca region. Other regions may not use this verb Eltoc. They might have a different verb that they use. So be aware. However, since Huasteca has the most amount of speakers, the majority of people will still understand you, even if they use a different verb. Okay, and I understand all the different ones. Okay, so we're also gonna learn the word nican, nopayo, nepa, and neka, and then we're gonna combine it all together and we're gonna learn prepositions and we're gonna learn where objects are in a location. Okay, so we're gonna start with inin amoshli, and I'm pretty sure you know this. This should be pretty easy by now. Okay, nican, 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 okay? Nopayo, okay? So pay attention to kind of where like I'm pointing, okay? Nopayo. And I have a picture because you probably can't see where I'm pointing when I'm in the webcam. So nopayo. Nepa. Okay, notice where Nepa is pointing at. Nepa is pointing right here in front of this mountain, okay? Nepa. Whereas if you say Neka, I'm pointing behind the mountain. What do you all think is the difference between Nepa and Neka?
Near and far?
Kind of. So Nopayo over here, this is, well, you'll see, but this is an object that is there, but it's closer, like closer to me. But this Nepa is still far away. It's far away. But here I'm pointing, and it's kind of hard to show in a picture. I'm pointing to an object that's here versus with Neka, an object is over here. Maybe it'll make more sense once I put the object, or maybe not, but if it's not. Okay, so amoshli eltoc nikan. Okay, pretty sure you know what that means, but notice now I'm using the verb eltoc. Amoshli eltoc nikan. Amoshli eltoc nikan. Amoshli elto nopayo. So this nopayo is very close to the area that I am in. Okay, so this is Nikan and Nopayo is Nopayo. This is generally in your area. However, you could also say Amoshli Eltoc Nepa. So Nepa is a lot further away than Nopayo. But notice that the book is here in front of this mountain. Whereas when I say Amoshli Eltoc Neka, the book is over here behind this mountain. Do you think you can figure out what it is? Or if not, I might have to tell you.
Would it be literally the ones we're learning are here, there, in front, and behind?
Amo.
No? Okay.
Okay. So Neka is still over there, but Neka is when you don't see the object. So here it's behind this mountain. So now what distinguish between Nepa, a thing that's far away but you do see, versus Neka, which is over there but you don't see. That's why it's behind the mountain. That's why I try to make it obvious, but I know it's not that obvious. So anyways, Amoshli Eltoc Neka, it would be something that's over there, like really far away, but you can't see it because it's so far away. Nepa, it's over there. It's really far away, but you can see it. All right, so now I'm going to ask you, Canin Eltoc Amochtli. Canin Eltoc Amochtli. Oh, by the way, Canin is where? And I don't know if I clarified that. So Canin Eltoc.
Amochtli Eltoc Nikan?
Wali. Amochtli Eltoc Nikan. Canin Eltoc Amochtli.
Amochtli Eltoc Napayo.
Nopayo. Amochtli Eltoc Nopayo. Canin Eltoc Amochtli.
Amochtli Eltoc Neka. Oh, Nepa.
Kena. This would be Nepa. Amochtli Eltoc Nepa. Versus Canin es Eltoc Amochtli.
Amochtli Eltoc Neka.
Quali Neka. Quali. All right. So I want to remind you of these prefixes that we've already learned, and you'll see why I need to remind you. But if you remember, when you possess something, when you own something, we use these prefixes. No, mo, I, to, inmo, and inin. This is for objects that belong to someone, right? That's why I have those boxes. Okay. So if you remember when we would say no chichi, my dog, mo chichi, your dog, ichichi, etc., this is when you own something. You're going to notice that Nahuatl uses these for objects that are in a location. So for example, Amochtli Eltoc Nonacastlan. Okay, so Nonacastlan. Notice I'm pointing in both directions. Amochtli Eltoc Nonacastlan. The word for ears in Nahuatl is Nacastli. So if you're noticing, this Nonacastlan is literally saying on my ears, on my ears. Okay, Amochtli Eltoc Nonacastlan. So that's how they say it's to my side. Okay, Amochtli Eltoc Nonacastlan. It doesn't matter which side. Okay, Amochtli Eltoc no Teixpan. No Teixpan. Also notice that I'm saying no because I'm talking about myself. Amochtli Eltoc no Teixpan. Okay, this word ishtli, you're going to see it in a lot of words in Nahuatl. The word ishtli can mean face or it can mean eyes. The word for face is ishayak, and the word for eyes is ishtiyol. Ishtiyol is the way to say it in Huasteca. In Central Varieties, they might say ishtelolotli, but we say ishtiyol. Okay, but this ish is referring to face or eyes, and that's why Amochtli Eltoc no Teixpan, and pan is the suffix that means like at. So this is literally saying at my face or at my eyes. Okay, so it kind of makes sense. All right, and Amochtli Eltoc no Ika. Noika. Now this one I can't break down for you. And by the way, these suffixes that I'm telling you, they actually have other alternatives in different regions, and even in the Huasteca, they use multiple alternatives. But in this case, I'm only going to teach you these three main ones. However, next week, I'm going to give you a whole sheet where I'm going to give you all of the prepositions that I know of. So this is just to introduce to you how these work, because notice that we're using these prefixes, the ones about possession, right? Okay, so I don't remember if I was supposed to ask you here. Okay, well, I'm gonna ask you anyway. Canin Eltoc Amochtli.
Amochtli Eltoc Nonacastlan.
So we're gonna assume that you are me.
Yes, case. I was, yeah.
Yeah, because it gets confusing when you're answering and you're like, literally it's in front of you to the side.
Or
it
would be Monacastlan.
Right? It would be Monacastlan if you were talking to me. But here, let's assume it's about me, and then later on, we're gonna change the prefixes. Okay, so you are going to assume that you are me. Okay. Amochtli Eltoc Nonacastlan. So literally on my ears. So nonakas is my ears. Okay. Canin eltoc amoshli.
Amoshli eltoc nonakaslan.
Ali. Canin eltoc amoshli.
Amoshli eltoc Teixpan.
Canin, quali. Canin eltoc amoshli.
Amoshli eltoc noika.
Quali, okay, so I should have put, anyways. Okay. I'll ask you again, I guess. Or we pretty much just did it, but Canin eltoc amoshli. I think I probably did that one to review, but it ended up becoming a question anyway. All right, Canin eltoc amoshli.
Amoshli eltoc nonakaslan.
Amo, nonakastlan.
Nope. It's Teixpan.
So if you remember, ishtli means face or eyes. This word ishtli that I'm giving you, that's the old definition of ishtli. Ishtli, like in classical times or previous to classical times, ishtli meant eyes or face. That's why Teixpan makes a lot of sense in Nahuatl. The alternative to Teixpan is ishteno. Now I didn't put it here, but you'll find out next week because I'm gonna give you a list. But ishteno also literally means like on the edge or on the lips of my face or my eyes, or like on the edge of my face. It could be translated multiple ways, but Teixpan is one of them. I'm just giving you the three main ones, but next week you can use all the ones you want because I'm gonna give you all of them, okay? Canin eltoc amoshli.
Amoshli eltoc nonakastlan.
Wali, nonakastlan, so literally on my ears, right? Canin eltoc amoshli.
Amoshli eltoc noika.
Quali, noika. All right, I'm not gonna ask you that one because I don't know why I have it twice. Okay. All right, so if you could notice, we've been using no because I'm talking about from my perspective, right? But all of these prefixes that you learned in the past, they basically refer to whose perspective you're talking about. So if I'm gonna say in front of you, I'm gonna say mo. If I say in front of him or her, I'm gonna say I. Us, we're gonna say to, and inmo, ya, and in front of them or to the side of them, I'm gonna say inin. All right, so now I'm gonna use those same pictures that I've been using for ever and ever to ask you, Canin eltoc amoshli. So now pay attention to this picture. That's gonna tell you who you're talking about. So this one you should know. Canin eltoc amoshli.
Amoshli eltoc nonakaslan.
Right? Now it's just switching it to you. So Canin eltoc amoshli, it's gonna be
Amoshli eltoc monakastlan. Yeah, sorry.
You got it. I just remembered that I have a quiz for you anyway, so I'm not gonna ask you.
Oh yeah, right on.
Amoshli eltoc monakastlan. Basically, these are the 6 forms, right? Amoshli eltoc inakastlan. His in this e, remember, is his or her, right? So it could also mean it. So it's talking about next to the side of it, to the side of her, to the side of him, etc. All right, if you have a specific person that you want to say it's next to, we just add the name to it. So it would be Amoshli eltoc inakastlan Sara. So you remember from Sara from a couple lectures ago, which I named her just because I felt like it. Amoshli eltoc inakastlan Sara. So you would just put Sara there. If you leave it without Sara, it just means him or her, but we don't know who you're talking about. Sara clarifies is next to Sara. Okay. Canin eltoc amoshli, if we're talking about us, if it's next to us, we would say amoshli eltoc tonakastlan. So literally all we're changing is the prefix. Ya amoshli eltoc in monakastlan. And for them, it'd be Amoshli Eltoc Inin Nakastlan. All right, same thing with they. If you have a group of 2 people or more people, and you want to talk about them, that it's next to them, we would add their names if you know their names. Okay, so Amoshli Eltoc Ini Nakastla Sandy Juan Daniel. Okay, so you can, as you can see, these prefixes are the same prefixes that we use when we own something, because literally in Nahuatl you're saying the thing is on my ears. So it really is something that is possessed. But Nahuatl treats all of the prepositions like on top of, beside, next to, close to me, far from me, etc., behind, between, all of those as possessive things from the perspective of the person you're talking about. And sometimes we don't know what the root of that word is, but a lot of the time you can figure it out. Okay. All right, I'm gonna let you think on this because I actually have to go to the restroom, and think on this one, okay? Hold on, I'm gonna pause. Or actually, I'm not gonna pause. One moment, I have to go. Sorry. All right, I'm back. Where's my... Okay.
Welcome back.
Canin Eltoc Amoshli.
Amoshli Eltoc Teixpan.
Teixpan, ¿cuál? And then Canin Eltoc Amoshli. Now we're talking about somebody else.
Amoshli Eltoc Moika.
Again, So here we're talking about you, right? Quali. And Canin Eltoc Amoshli. Or that was good. Canin Eltoc Amoshli. So now we're talking about specifically somebody, right?
Amoshli Eltoc Teixpan.
Teixpan Ahkia.
Sarah.
Kena. Amoshli Eltoc Teixpan Sara. So notice Teixpan has an I, we still write both I's in there. At least we do that in Huasteca. Some varieties might just write it as one. Okay. ¿Cuál? Okay, Canin Eltoc Amoshli with relation to Sara.
Amoshli Eltoc Inakaslan Sara.
Kena, ¿cuál? Amoshli Eltoc Inakaslan Sara. All right. So Naman Canin Eltoc Xochitl. And by the way, it doesn't matter how many flowers there are. It's not. It can be xochime, but normally it's not xochime.
Xochitl Eltoc. Which one? I forgot what the photo looked like.
So this is out to us. So
Tonacastlan.
Kena, ¿cuál? Xochitl Eltoc Tonacastlan. Canin Eltoc Xochitl in relation to y'all.
Xochitl Eltoc in Moishpan.
Kena, in Moishpan, ¿cuál? And Canin Eltoc Xochitl in relation to them.
Xochitl, Eltoc, Ika, Sandy. Or is it multiple of them?
It's this. Her name is not Sandy. That's a different person. But Ika Sandy.
Sorry.
In this case, I use this picture because she has two fingers. I use it as to indicate there, like them.
Yeah.
So I understand why you're confused, but here I use it to indicate they, according to they, behind them, basically.
Xochitl, Eltoc, Ininica.
Ininica. So remember, in Nahuatl, the second to last is always the highest. So it's Ininica. All right, now we're specifically talking about Sandy, Juan Daniel, and these flowers are to their sides. Canin Eltoc Amoxtli. Xochitl.
Xochitl, Eltoc, Ininacatzlan, Sandy, Juan Daniel.
Quali. You got it, basically all of it. Yes, quali. All right. Canin Eltoc Xochitl. Picture and Xochitl.
Xochitl, Eltoc, Nican.
Quali. Xochitl Eltoc Nican. Canin Eltoc Xochitl. Okay, so first you indicate, well, I want you to indicate this and also next to and the person. So I guess I'm trying to explain it visually, but hopefully you understand what this means. If not, we'll see. I'm just trying to be consistent. Basically, it's here next to me. It's here next to my side.
Xochitl, Eltoc, Nonacatzlan, Nican.
I would say Nican, Nonacatzlan, but I think that's acceptable, Nonacatzlan, Nican. I would probably say Nican, Nonacatzlan, but yes, I think Nonacatzlan, Nican would work. Okay, Quali, Canin Eltoc Xochitl.
Xochitl, Eltoc, Nopayo.
Quali, Xochitl Eltoc Nopayo. Quali, Canin Eltoc Xochitl in relation to you. So in this case, it would be in front of you, but over there in front of you.
Xochitl, Eltoc, Nopayo, Moixpan.
Quali?
Hoy,
You
that was a
got it.
mouthful.
But see, this is how we're going to get you to make sentences. If you notice, this is how I teach you to like slowly start making sentences. I mean, these are all full-fledged sentences. Eventually, you should be able to speak. That's the whole point.
Just need to build that muscle memory.
Yeah, and I put a lot of repetition. Xochitl Eltoc Nopayo Moixpan. So it's over there in front of you. Quali. Now the flowers are all the way over there, far, far, but you can see them. Canin Eltoc Xochitl.
Xochitl, Eltoc, Nepa.
Quali? Xochitl Eltoc Nepa. Okay. Oh, sorry, oops. Okay. Where are the flowers in relation to this hill? This, I'm not going to give you the word in Nahuatl, even though you might have already seen it. Mountain or hill?
Is it Ishkanul? Or is that volcano? Or that might be Mayan. Never mind.
I think so, because we don't have Ishkanul like that, but Ishkaneli means something. It means ant, like an ant, like the insect. But Ishkanul might be Mayan, I don't know. This time in relation to this hill or mountain, where are the flowers? Canin Eltoc Xochitl.
Xochitl,
Xochitl.
Eltoc,
Uh-huh.
Xochitl, Eltoc,
Uh-huh.
Nepa.
Uh-huh. And now in relation to the mountain? I guess it depends on your perspective.
Is the mountain, yeah, I was thinking.
Now that I'm
Is
thinking
the mountain
about it.
a
Well,
them?
you're assume you're me, and so you're seeing it from over here to over there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because otherwise from our perspective, it's to the side, right? But from my picture's perspective, it's in front of. Or you could talk about who, if you're talking in front of me, you could talk about in relation to me, or you could talk in relation to the mountain. It really does depend on what you want to say.
Can you
here I'm asking
say
about the mountain.
Teixpan Tepetl?
Teixpan Tepetl. So here we have the Eltoc Nepa because it's over there, but we can see it, right? And then this Teixpan, we're talking about this E is saying it's in front of it, and that it's in front of is the Tepetl. So you see this I, this E, it can also refer to other object, like not just him or her, but it could refer to objects, like if it's in front of an object. Right? All right, now same thing, but now the flowers are over here. Canin Eltoc Xochitl.
Xochitl Eltoc Neca Teixpan Tepetl.
Now they're not in front of the Tepetl. Now they're behind.
Oh, behind, okay. So Xochitl Eltoc Neca Ica Tepetl.
Quali. You got it. You passed the test. You graduate. Okay. Last week we learned te and tla, if you remember. And if you remember last week, we learned that you could put te and tla in front of verbs. And we learned that if you say ni te machtia or ni te palewia, I'm helping someone. Ni tlapalewia, or tlapalewia would be a weird thing, but you could say that I help with things. Ni tlapalewia. So these prefixes, even though they can be used to indicate an action being done to something that you don't know if it's a person or a thing, these you can use them the same way to say that it is next to somebody or next to something. Okay, so you can put these in front of those prefixes, these prepositions, sorry. So for example, if you say te nakaslan, we know nakaslan is to the side, but now if you say te nakaslan, you mean beside someone, or you mean beside people. We don't know who, but we know it's beside someone or people. Teixpan would be in front of someone or in front of people. So actually this word teixpan can also be used to say the word in public. So you want to say, I speak in public, you would say, nisaniloa teixpan. You're literally saying, I speak in front of people, or nikamati. It depends which verb you use on nitlatoa. But anyways, nisaniloa is how you say, I speak. So nisaniloa teixpan could mean I speak in front of someone, I speak in front of people, or it could also mean I speak in public. Okay, and then teika is behind someone or behind people, etc. I'm not sure if it could mean like hidden from people, but behind someone or behind people. Okay, tlanakastlan. So you put this this indefinite prefix of tla, now it means things, right? So if you say tlanakastlan, you mean beside something, next to something. Okay, if you say tlaixpan, you mean in front of something. This word tlaixpan also has an alternative definition. If you go look up this word tlaixpan, it also means an altar. So, so you can kind of see a metaphorical meaning in there for tlaixpan. So you'll see this as altar, but it literally means in front of something. Okay, and then tlaika, it means behind something. So you can combine these prefixes in here. Oh, another thing I wanted to say that I should have added a slide for, but I didn't. These prefixes, you know how when we say no nakaslan, you're literally saying to my side, etc. You're possessing this noun, basically. You're saying that it's yours. So tenacaslan literally means be beside someone. But you could also add these prefixes te and tla on other nouns. So like if I want to say someone's house, we have the word Cali. And remember in a couple lectures ago, I told you that Cali, the Li is going to go away. So you're going to say tecal, someone's house. So you can put these prefixes to say that somebody owns this thing. So tecal would be somebody's house. If you want to say, I don't know, someone's cat, you would say temiston. Or someone's dog, techichi, etc. You could also do the same thing with tla. Tla is a little bit harder to give because generally things don't possess other things. But let's see, something's face, something's
Like a flower's petals.
But then it would be a flower's things. A flower's things. Things. I'm trying to think. Tlatzintla means under, but no. I can't think of an example, but I know in theory you could say something's blank and then put a noun there, like something's, I don't know.
What if you're trying to say the parts of something? Would that work in this way?
But then you would have to say the word part. Oh, so part would be iachi, tlaachi, I guess, yeah. The word for part is achi. So noachi, yo, noachi. So tlaachi, maybe. I'm not sure. I can't think of a good example for you. But in theory, these things are nouns. So, I mean, tlanacastan literally means on something's ears. So it's kind of weird. But anyways, you can use these to possess other objects, but then it just means something's or someone's thing. Okay, so this is the summary. So we have the same prefixes that you've already learned, but now you also know this te and tla. This te and tla means that an action is being done to someone, but it can also mean that it's someone's thing. The tla, an action can be done to a thing, or it's something's thing, which I can't think of an example for some reason. Anyways, amoshli book, shochi flower, nikan here, nopayo there, nepa over there, but you see it, neka over there, but you don't see it. Eltoc is to be located in a location, but this is only applicable to inanimate objects. So if you remember from a couple of lectures ago that in Nahuatl you can only pluralize inanimates, like if you have one book, it's amoshli. If you have two books, it's amoshli, and that doesn't change. So Nahuatl also distinguishes something being in a location, whether it's inanimate or animate. So if you want to say Eltoc, mostly you're saying a book is there or whatever, a book is in a location. But if you want to say a person or like an animal is in a location, we're going to use a different verb, which you'll learn next week, which is Itstoc. Eltoc does not have a plural form, like Eltoque is not a thing. Although maybe somebody might use that if they pluralize in inanimate, which they're not supposed to do, but they might do it. But Eltoc is the singular form, and it doesn't matter how many of those inanimate objects you're talking about. If you say one book is here, sea amoshli Eltoc nikan. Two books are here, ome amoshli Eltoc nikan. It doesn't matter how many you have. But you'll learn next week, when you're talking about people or animals, you can have one person Itstoc, se masewali Itstoc versus ome masewalme el Itztoque. So that's the plural form, which you will learn next week. Okay, so essentially Nahuatl makes that distinction between inanimates and animates a lot of places. So you kind of have to start thinking that way. Eventually you'll get good at it. Next week, we're going to learn more prepositions, but now we're going to add prepositions with people. And I'm going to give you a full list of Huasteca prepositions. Okay, Tlasocamatimiac, Nochime Tlenech Palewihke. I want to thank everyone who has helped me. And Tlatlanilis, do you have any questions? Oh, okay, so Danny asked, does Mexico have nations or clans like the Southwest or North America? That's a hard question for me to answer because I know in English and in the United States, we have like the Navajo Nation, the Hopi Nation, like we call them nations because they see themselves as autonomous tribes, etc. And Mexico does have that same concept of where some tribes see themselves autonomous and separate from the government. But whether or not they call themselves nations, I'm not sure. Where I'm from Michoacan, where the Purepecha people are in abundance, and they have their own flag, they have their own language, and they see themselves kind of separate and from the Mexican identity, but technically they still, follow the Mexican laws, et cetera, et cetera. So whether or not they consider themselves a nation, I don't know. That's a very complex question. But they do have a flag, they do have a culture, they do have their own language. And so that's a really big question. But in Mexico, people generally identify themselves based on what's themselves based on their region. And so I guess the answer is yes. But that's a very complex question. I know I froze because my freaking USB connection is weird, but I switched to Wi-Fi and hopefully should be good. Anyways, so I don't know. That's a very complex question. But I'll say that Mexico has plenty of tribes, more than the United States, and a lot more that have their own language and their own identity. And it's very political in Mexico. Very, very political.
Not that I'm like the most knowing when it comes to the authority of this topic, but I've always, and the little bit of studying that I've been doing throughout all of the Americas, like in the US, for example, the nations are based off of culturally tribes, right? So I feel like the answer might technically be yes, because every single group is its own individual culture and often language also and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer the question.
Yeah. It is complex though. It's a really good, awesome, interesting one.
I don't know. And then you could say, well, a nation has its own military, and so you would be like, well, some of the tribes have it and some of them don't, and so are they nations? Are they not nations? I don't know.
That's just semantics of the English language, though, right?
So I don't know. Yeah.
I have
the question is, why does it matter? I don't know.
Yeah, I actually found this map, and I'll share the website with you later. And it's all broken down, all the different tribes throughout the whole Americas, and it's really fascinating.
Cool. Well, thank you. You could send it out maybe as a link here if you want. Maybe you could send it to Danny, or you send it out to everyone right now.
Yeah, I'll have to find it because I don't have it on hand, but if everyone's here next week, I'll definitely prepare it.
Sounds good. Thank you. Any other questions about Nahuatl? Was Nahuatl clear today? I think it was, but who knows?
Yes, I definitely just need a lot of practice because there was a lot of new movements in my mouth that I need to learn to combine with muscle memory better.
And also do the homework. I did plenty of sentences this time, and some of them are pretty complex. So that should help. All right. If nobody else has any other questions, going once. Say, hey.
No, just thank you for being here on the holiday week. Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. I actually am one of those people that rarely celebrates anything, including my own birthday. So I don't, I'm a very lonely, not lonely, but separate person from most people. So I don't generally do anything like this at all, ever, since like 18. So for me,
I haven't celebrated this specific holiday since I was like 18 out of protest.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's also complex. Yeah. That's another issue. But I don't celebrate pretty much anything. So my family does here and there. basically Christmas, and that's it. And even then, that's questionable in my family.
My family forces me to acknowledge my birthday.
Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah. Anyways, but no, for me, like, I'm always available. I'm just happy that I don't have to work tomorrow. I'm just gonna sleep in extra, work out extra, and that's it. That's me. But it is what it is. All right. Tlasokamati miak imojuantin. Thank you all. And Timoitase Chiquayillok. It looks like Cody sent the
I
link
found
right now. So Danny,
it's not
maybe
free for the high quality one, but you can still look at them.
All right. So tribalnationsmaps.com. All right. Bueno, Tlasokamati, Piali, Timoitase Chiquayillok.
Tlasokamati, Diego.
Ashley.